Welcome to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show, where we harness the power of dreams and the dreaming mind to create the lives we desire. I'm Dr. Dream, and on this show, I not only share my experience and expertise in the area of dreams, but I wrangle the best mind, body, spirit experts on the planet to not only help you stand on the shoulders of the great ones who came before you, but to help you maximize your time on the bridge between sleep and awake, the physical and the metaphysical, the holy and the guacamole, because that's where we do our best dreamifesting. What's dreamifesting, you ask? That's when we allow our nighttime dreams to do the heavy lifting to make our wildest waking dreams come true. I'm so passionate about this that I wrote a book about it, and it's coming out September 2025. So let's get to it, for as we are lifted, all are lifted. Welcome. Welcome to the show, everybody. Today is going to be so juicy. We're going to talk about sexy dreams. We're going to talk about sleep. We're going to talk about sexy sleep and sleep as a spiritual practice. These are some things you might not have heard about. We're also going to talk about if you have insomnia. Yes, that's awful, but it might not be as awful as you think, because you might be able to parlay that into an amazing dream incubation that might lead to lucid dreaming, might even lead to some wonderful spiritual access to realms that you didn't know about. So this is going to be juicy today. We're talking with Dr. Clare Johnson. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a world-leading lucid dream teacher, author, and sleep expert. She's the first person in the world to do a PhD on lucid dreaming as a creativity tool. She's the former CEO of the International Association for the Study of Dreams, the author of 8 books, including the highly acclaimed complete book of lucid dreaming. She's explored the mysteries of consciousness for over 3 decades, and Claire is known for her original lucid dreaming technique, her nightmare and insomnia solutions, and her theories on diverse topics such as meditating in lucid dreams, lucid dream light as the baseline state of consciousness. I love that. I can't wait to talk about that. The pranic nature of the dream body, and our doctoral research experiments with different levels of dream control. She's about to launch the Sleep and Dream Lucid Dreaming podcast, and she's the founder of www.deepluciddreaming.com. Claire leads lucid dreaming ocean retreats in spectacular locations, and her newest book release that just came out. It's hot, hot, hot off the press. It's The Elixir of Sleep, practical solutions for a good night's rest. And I am so excited to bring out Dr. Clare Johnson. Welcome to the show today, Dr. Clare.
Hi, Kelly. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I'm really excited for our talk. It's going to be great.
I am so excited as well. So let's get a little bit of background on you. I know some people come to dreams and come to lucid dreaming through nightmares or some unpleasant, what we might say, crises. And I always say a crisis is a terrible thing to waste. You didn't waste your crisis. So tell us about what happened to you.
Oh, right. Well, thank you. So, I mean, when I was growing up, I had a lot of nightmares, as many kids do, and I never had much support with that because my parents were like, "Oh, it was just a dream. Just forget about it. Go back to sleep." And that's the last thing you want to do when you've just woken up from a scary nightmare. So, yeah, as I grew up, I just had to figure out for myself how to deal with fear in scary sleep states, how to navigate them. And this came through lucid dreaming, the awareness that we are dreaming while we are dreaming. So when we're able to recognize, oh, I'm in the dream state right now, then suddenly the scary monster doesn't seem so scary because we know, okay, I'm going to wake up from this experience. So, I mean, it wasn't as simple as that. It took me it took me a long time to gather my resources and my energy and figure out the rules of the dream world. And I started to understand at an early age that my thoughts and intentions could guide the dream, so that if I imagined that scary monster to be a friend, then they would behave much more, just much more kindly towards me. Or if I asked them a question, like, should we fly together? Then something great fun would happen. So these experiences and others that I had as a little kid basically taught me how to deal with fear, and it taught me how to lucid dream. So, yeah. Oh, Kelly, your voice has gone again.
Oh, man, how about that?
Oh,
And
that's yeah.
speaking of voice, I'm gonna ramble on for a little bit while you switch your audio settings because it's going in and out a little bit. So I'm gonna let you do that. Just do whatever, unplug perhaps. So I'm going to. I just want to say, I also have a background in with nightmares, with like pretty terrible nightmares that when I turned and faced them, even I didn't even know that they were going to that I was asking them to be my friend. I thought they were just gonna kill me, and I thought, "I just can't keep running forever from all these wolves that seem so hell-bent on wanting to kill me." So I thought, "Well, just go ahead already, because I can't run my whole life." But once once they kind of gobbled me up, spit me back out, I became wolf woman, and it was so empowering, and it's one of my most empowering dreams. So I, um, I think sometimes we don't wanna waste these we don't wanna waste anything, any crisis, especially, a nightmare, because it can be something that ends up such a blessing. So, let's see how your audio is doing. And hello, Chelsea, and she's excited about the show today. Chelsea, I'm wondering if you have a question for Dr. Clare Johnson. So, what's one of the best ways that we can approach well, let's talk about what I started to tease about, the sexy sleep. Let's just at least instead of having a happy ending, we'll have a happy beginning. So, let's talk about what's so beautifully natural about this naturally occurring phenomenon.
Yes, so everybody is genitally aroused when they're in REM sleep, that's rapid eye movement sleep. And we all go through these stages of sleep during the night, several cycles per night. And in the stage where we have rapid eye movement, we are extremely alert. Our brain is on fire. It's sometimes 30% more active than it is in the waking state. And along with that comes genital arousal. So sometimes men will get penile erections, and there'll be a greater flow of blood to the clitoris in women. So there's a very intimate connection between sex and sleep anyway. It doesn't always translate to erotic dreams, but the wonderful thing is that if we would like to explore sex more, have more sexy dreams, incubate an erotic dream, then that's pretty easy to do because it's a natural part of sleep anyway. And also, people have discovered, there's been research done into this, that when we experience insomnia, so if we're awake in the night
Right.
for long periods and we can't get back to sleep, one of the things that researchers have found is that orgasms help you to fall asleep more easily, which many people will have already noticed, because an orgasm is an ecstatic experience that releases relaxing hormones like oxytocin, and it also reduces the levels of stress hormones like cortisol. So it's easier to fall asleep if we're relaxed in a great space. And so people have found that that can be an insomnia treatment as well, if you like. If people are having trouble falling back to sleep, then masturbation or sex with their partner can really help with that. So there are so
Wow.
many, yeah, there are so many areas. And another area which is interesting to explore is the element of this Kundalini energy. So Kundalini energy is the life force energy, and this rises as well in it can rise in any state of consciousness, but when we're in the dream state and perhaps having an erotic dream, then that energy is ready to be activated. And so it has often been linked to spiritual activation, spiritual awakening, even spiritual enlightenment. And what people can do if they would like to work with Kundalini energy is either incubate an erotic dream, and then experiment with, at the moment of orgasm, just bringing that energy right up through all of the energy centers in the body, all of the chakras, and out through the head, causing a sense of spiritual bliss and oneness. Or if you're a lucid dreamer, that means if you're aware that you were dreaming while you were dreaming, then you can stand there in the dream and just ask, say, I would like to have a Kundalini awakening. I would like to experience the movement of this sexual energy through all of the energy centers in my body. And it can be incredibly spiritual to have these kinds of sleep experiences. And what I talk about in Elixir of Sleep is sleep as a spiritual practice, because so many people push sleep aside. They say, oh, I don't have time for sleep. I have to work. Work's more important. We squeeze sleep into a very small space, and it's such a shame. There's so much to explore. There are wonderful states of consciousness within sleep. So, for example, the hypnagogic state, when we're just drifting off to sleep, and we receive all these images, kind of very bizarre, surreal images, or we hear strange noises, or we feel sensations such as floating or falling. And when we get used to observing this hypnagogic imagery or these sensations, then we can actually learn to be calm observers while our body falls asleep. And so you can remain conscious as you fall asleep and go straight into a lucid dream, where you can guide the dream if you want to. But lucid dreaming doesn't have to be all about control by any means, but you might want to give an impulse to the dream. Like if you want to heal yourself, you can say, I invite healing to my bad knee or my headaches or whatever it is that ails you. So that's a beautiful journey into lucid dreaming. And that's just the first kind of 10 minutes or so of falling asleep. And then you can get into all of these other wonderful states of consciousness. I can talk about this a bit more later, Kelly, or now, I don't know if you want to, but the lucid void, the lucid light, all of these
Yes.
fantastic deep experiences.
Yes, I know Chelsea who just recently commented. I know she's into yoga nidra. Am I saying it right?
Oh,
And I know that that's kind of something that a lot of people have been talking about lately as something that is a really profound way to amplify our consciousness and there's a relationship between sleep and dream incubation and being right there on the cusp.
mm,
So maybe I'd love to hear about the lucid light and
yeah,
wherever you want to
sure.
go with this, because this is absolutely what I want to be hearing about. So
Great. Well, Yoga Nidra, to get back to that first, because this is one of the routes into the lucid light, which I'll come to in a moment. I do a lot of work with Yoga Nidra. In fact, well, there's a lot about it in the Elixir of Sleep, but also the other day I went out for dinner with a friend who I've known for 25 years. And at one point she said, Claire, I've known you for so long and you're always so happy and balanced and full of joy. And how do you do it? Do you ever have an off day? And I said, oh, of course I have an off day. Everybody does. But I gave her question serious thought. She was like, what's your secret? And I realized that my secret to happiness and balanced sense of joy is that I have a nap every day. And it could be just really small, like just 10 minutes on the sofa. But that's where I do my yoga nidra practice. So yoga nidra is the most ancient form of meditation. It's a fantastically easy meditation as well in many ways, because you don't have to stay sitting up and try and stop all your thoughts and fight against your instincts. You simply lie down and you float on the edges of sleep. You just relax and allow your consciousness to balance between sleep and wake. It's very, very beautiful practice. And it's also a good one for helping you to stabilize lucid dreams, because it teaches you, it is a meditation, right? It teaches you to stay present to all of the hypnagogic imagery or sensations without losing your awareness. And that helps you to have long, stable, lucid dreams. And it's also a portal, as we were saying, into the lucid light. Did you want to ask me something, Kelly?
no, I just have to comment and just say it's so funny how our culture, the Western culture, is like, oh, I'll sleep when I die. It's so disregarded. There's no value in it. It's like what's important is what we do in our waking hours and how productive we can be and everything that's tangible and measurable. And yet this what might look to the eye, somebody walking by, they go, "Oh, Claire's lazy. She's just taking a nap. What a slacker." And really, there's like all this stuff going on. I mean, we could
Yeah.
just nap unconsciously. We could just have orgasms un without consciousness, but adding a drop of consciousness to these very
Mm.
natural states of being can just take us into these other realms. So I want you to continue, and I'm really
Exactly, that's so well put. It takes us into these other realms of bliss and oneness. And so the lucid light, well, this is a light that I have encountered many, many times, and so have many others. So it's not just me. The lucid light is what I consider to be the baseline state of consciousness. It's weird the way humans seem to feel that the baseline state of consciousness is the waking state, that in fact, when we go into deeper states of awareness during sleep, for example, or deep meditation or deep lucid dreaming, we have these incredible experiences of dissolving into light. And when you're in this light, you know that that's what you are. That's who you are. There is no little ego self anymore. It just all vanishes, and you're floating in this infinite oneness, this amazing state of bliss. And that is the source of consciousness. That is the baseline state of reality from which all forms and matter emerge. Everything, this whole world we live in with all of its material things and furniture and people. And so this all emerges from this light. And this isn't an idea that I've just kind of come up with on my own. I mean, if you look into all of the ancient religions, they all talk about light, like in the Bible, they say that first there was light, or in Buddhism, they have the clear light of pure awareness, of pure being. So you'll find it all over the place, these cultural references to the light. And one of the best states of consciousness for experiencing that lucid light firsthand, even though it's always here, but we're too busy during the day to kind of tap into it often. But it's great to do these yoga nidra states. Lie down, float on the cusp of sleep. As you said, have just a little drop of conscious awareness in there. It transforms everything. And also when we wake up inside the dream, realizing that everything we see and touch is a dream, we become lucid. Then we can ask for an experience of the lucid light, or simply look around for a source of light. It could be the moon. It could be the sun shining in a puddle of water. It could be anything. And just move towards that light, because often when we encounter light in lucid dreams, in the forms such as I said, just like the sun shining in the sky or something, if we move towards that, the dream transforms. We move towards a higher source, a higher energy. Oh, and when we connect with that, it's unforgettable. It's incredibly rejuvenating as well. I mean, I've had experiences where I've been really, really tired because of book deadlines, and I'm sure you can relate to this, Kelly.
I'm on one right
Yeah.
now
Oh
as
my
we
gosh,
speak.
yeah.
As we speak, I was up at 2:00 this morning. It's perfect timing that I'm talking to you. I've been
Yeah.
no sleep the last few days on
Oh,
purpose,
well,
but
hopefully that everything will change after this, hopefully.
oh,
We'll
yes,
talk about the importance of sleep.
so true. Yeah.
But, you're in this situation where you're racing towards the deadline. You know you've got to
Yeah,
hand it into your editor. Everyone's waiting for you. So you
yeah.
just push sleep aside, right?
Yes.
Not good, but that's what we all do. We get, wired. Our brain becomes like jing, zinging with electricity.
Yep.
So I remember there was one deadline like that where I was so tired. I think it was with The Art of Transforming Nightmares, one of my books. Finally sent it off to the editor. It was only 11 o'clock in the morning. I started to realize I felt ill. I felt physically ill. I was drained. I was just, I felt really bad in my body. So I just went and lay down on the bed and turned the lights out. And as soon as I closed my eyes, the corners of the room began to fill up with light. It was incredible. And I recognized it. Oh, it's the lucid light, it's coming to heal me. And it took all of me, it like came all around me and lifted me up. So I was just floating in this light, and it was like a balm to the soul. It was amazing. And I lost all sense of time and space. And I was just there in oneness. And then gradually I came out of that experience. I had no idea how long it had lasted. I thought maybe 20 minutes or something. I looked at the watch and like an hour and a half had gone by. And I thought, I feel incredible. I feel so full of energy. And I leapt out of bed and I was just totally healthy again, like no sense of illness or discomfort in my body. And I just zoomed off on my bike. I went on a huge bike ride by the river. So it's just like, it gave me all this energy, and it is literally like plugging into the source. And we all have this. We all have access to this because that is who we are fundamentally. So
Wow.
it's just finding ways into these incredible states to help us to rejuvenate, because life isn't always easy, and we all need, to have some extra strength sometimes, and we can find that in the realm of sleep and dreams and lucidity.
I'm so loving this conversation, and I so love the things that our sleep and our dreams can do. I mean, I'm already, I'm part of the choir here. I mean, you don't have to
I
convince
know.
me. But I
Yeah.
feel like you're taking my enthusiasm and passion for this to the next level, and I also wanna explore more about this lucid light as a baseline when we come back
Mm.
from this commercial. So I am with Dr. Clare Johnson, author of so many books, but her latest book is The Elixir of Sleep. So go check it out during this commercial break. We'll be right back. Mark your calendar for September 16th, 2025 for the book launch of Dreamifesting. When you buy your copy of the Dreamifesting paperback or Kindle ebook, either in pre-order or on launch day, you get hundreds of dollars of free gifts to support you in dreamifesting your very best life. Go to dreamifesting.com now to start dreamifesting your wildest dreams into reality. Hey, dreamy friend, did you know that people with deep and meaningful friendships live longer and healthier lives? And did you also know that besides hosting the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show, I also co-host the Anatomy of Friendship podcast with the amazing holistic health counselor and author, Joey Sutton. Joey and I have been besties for over 25 years, and on our show, we share our friendship formula for how to make and keep deep and lasting friendships. Download our free ebook at anatomyoffriendship.com, and you can also check out the podcast on Spotify and Apple iTunes. Anatomy of Friendship, because it takes a team to make a dream come true. So welcome back to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show. I'm with Dr. Clare Johnson, author of so many wonderful books. She's the first person to have a PhD in lucid dreaming for creativity. Her latest book is The Elixir of Sleep, and it is available right now, hot, and I mean like smoking hot off the press. And we talked a little bit about orgasms, a little bit about sleep and sexy sleep, sexy dreams, the whole sexy nature of it all, which is like, I don't know, the British part of me is a little, I don't know, I get a little verklempt. I guess I don't know what that is. Clearly I'm blushing, but and we were talking about this lucid light. And what I loved that you said, and I don't think I've ever heard this said before, is that to think of it as a baseline, as opposed to this kind of unattainable thing or something that we glimpse every
Yeah.
once in a while and we get a little taste of, and then we're back down. It's almost like the mountaintop is where we want to be in that lucid light, but we mostly live in the valley below and we're always kind of climbing up there. But what if that lucid light was our baseline? What if that was normal, ordinary, ho hum, even just kind of like how we're wired? And then where do we go from there? So say a little bit more about that, because that is so intriguing. Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. Yeah. So we are the mountaintop, so to speak. That is
Yeah.
who we are. That is where we are. We are always there on some level of consciousness. Always. We are in this gorgeous oneness, this gorgeous light. But we get pulled away from it by the thoughts that we think, the scenarios that we imagine, the encounters we have in waking life. And that's why, another reason why sleep is so precious, because we are bathed in this lucid light during sleep. All of us are. There's this state of consciousness during sleep that I refer to as the gap between dreams. So, most people will have remembered at least some dreams in their life. So dreams are often associated with vivid streams of imagery and perhaps story-like plots and all sorts of things happening, maybe scary things or beautiful things. But at the end of the REM part, the rapid eye movement part of the sleep cycle, we drift into a new phase, a new stage of being. And when we drift down into deep sleep, there is none of this usual imagery, none of this usual flow of dream imagery. Instead, we are floating in oneness. The people have been woken up from deep sleep, and they usually will recall maybe a very slow conceptual train of thought, or a sense of floating, or rising or falling. There's something, we are never unconscious. And this is another thing that a lot of people sort of get wrong, in the sense they think, oh, you go to sleep, you switch off your consciousness. No, we never switch off our consciousness completely. There is always part of us that is conscious. And so when we're in the deep sleep stages, we are resting in this lucid light, whether it looks like white light or black light or light of any other color. It's this oneness state. And that's why it's so healing and rejuvenating to get deep sleep. And that's why we need to protect our deep sleep, which is around 25% of our night of sleep. We need to protect it because, for example, getting to something practical now, which won't be popular. For example, if we drink a lot of coffee during the day and we drink it too late into the afternoon, this actually robs us of deep sleep. It robs us of this deep sleep stage. Even if we manage to fall asleep quite easily, and we think, oh yeah, I had a good night's sleep, but we're getting less of that deep sleep if we've drunk too much coffee or Coca-Cola or eaten too much dark chocolate, which is, that's the one I love of those three. But just got to watch these stimulants, because that deep sleep is incredibly precious. It rejuvenates us mind, body, and soul. And, it helps with cellular healing, hormonal balance, all sorts. So it's an incredibly important stage of sleep. And in that state, I believe that we are floating in this kind of source code for life, this baseline state of consciousness. That's where we return to. And it's always present, even right now in the waking state, of course.
I love that. I love that perspective. That's so beautiful. We're always conscious and it's always around us. It's just like the perspective of our blessings and the things that there are to be grateful for. There's so much around that we can't even count it all. And yet sometimes we just feel like wah, 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 wah. And yet we're missing all these blessings and we just need to tap into it. Speaking of blessings, I just want to give a little plug here for the regional IASD conference that's coming up. If you're watching this live, it's coming up this Saturday in just a few days. Clare used to be the president of the IASD, the International Association for the Study of Dreams. And it's such a wonderful organization. I have to shout out to Lauren Z. Schneider, who's the one that said, you got to join this. And I'm like, nah, I don't like joining organizations. She said, no. This is so special. It's so worth it. The people there are amazing. And it's proven to be that every time. The global international conference is going to be online this year, which makes the regional conferences that much more special because it's so rare to get to be in person. I know, Claire, you're going to be going to India for a live conference that is so exciting. I want you to talk about that in a second, but I want everyone to know, go to asdreams.org. That's dreams, plural.org, and click on the little button where it says conferences, and you'll see right up at the top the regional conference. It takes place in Whittier, California. It's where I grew up. So I'm so excited. I'll be one of the speakers, and I'm going to give a little teaser. I'm going to be bringing my very first art installation that came right out of dreams, and it has a little something to do with the deep ocean and a mermaid throne. Claire, you would love this. I'm gonna have to send you a picture because
I really want to see that.
so it's
That
kind of a
sounds like
secret, but you're gonna wanna see this. You're gonna wanna sit in this chair because
oh,
it's where
yes.
all the wisdom comes from. It's so exciting. So go to
Mm.
asdreams.org to find out about the regional conference coming up this Saturday in Whittier, California. And then on that same page, you're going to see a link to the conference that Claire is going to be speaking at in India. Do you want to say a little something about that?
Yeah, thank you. I'm so excited to be going back to India. I haven't been since I was like 21 or so. Look, there's a picture of me my first time in India.
Oh my God, that is the best picture.
Oh,
Oh, that's great.
it's going to be so exciting going back. India is an amazing place, and things always happen in India. There's always
Mm,
there's
mhm.
something going on, something transformative will happen. So I'm going out there to lead a 2-day workshop before the conference on transformative lucidity. And we'll be talking about Kundalini energy and all the stuff we've just been talking about here. And then I'm going to go to the IASD regional conference, which is also in Bangalore in India. And I'll be speaking there on lucid dreaming and spiritual enlightenment. So how we can welcome and embrace spiritual transformation through lucid dreaming and through our engagement with our sleep and dreams. So I'm very much looking forward to that. It's going to be incredible. And afterwards, we're all going to go to the jungle and see some elephants and tigers, maybe. And
Oh my God, I'm so jealous. Okay, well,
oh, I
through
wish you could
dreams, I'll be
come.
joining, and I can't wait to one of these days join you in India
Yeah.
and on an elephant or at the
Yes.
bottom of the sea in a mermaid throne. Whichever, I'll take
Perfect.
whatever. Or like this, I'll take this. But as we come sort of to the end of the show, I want to give some very practical tips about good sleep. I want to just give like one little example. I heard a sleep expert. I interviewed a sleep expert many, many years ago who talked about how so many people that have their wonderful pets, that's one of the things, the pet sleeping in bed with them is one of the ways that we don't get a good night's sleep because we tend to position ourselves around the pets. And when this person said, you have to put your sleep as number one, and your animal, your little dog or cat will adjust. And I think about that every night. And I swear to God, it's made such a difference because if I don't sleep in a particular way, like I won't sleep. My little doggy will sleep anyway, any way she
That's
wants.
true.
She'll sleep hanging upside down, you know. So let's talk about some practical things because we really can't access some of these realms if we're
Mm,
stressed about our sleep, which is the phenomenon so many people are struggling and suffering with. So, what
yeah.
are some ways to counteract that and get a good night's sleep?
Right. Yeah, great. Good that you asked that. So, one of the most important things is sticking to a regular sleep schedule, which
Mhm.
many of us don't bother with, right? But it's very important to try and go to bed at the same time each night and wake up at the same time each morning so that your body is kind of trained. It knows, okay, now it's time for sleep. Um, and it's good to set an alarm in the evening to remind you to go to sleep, a kind of bedtime, go to bed alarm.
Oh, I
And
love
another
that.
thing that yeah, it's handy. It reminds you because we tend to drift around doing this and that, when in fact we should already be in bed having an amazing spiritual sleep.
Right.
um, another thing which is important is to dim the lights in your home about 30 minutes before you're due to fall asleep, because this actually increases the production of the sleep hormone melatonin. And it kind of just gears us, well, instead of gearing us up, it slows us down towards sleep. So it's very beautiful to do that and to combine that with not using your phone right up to the last minute. Instead, maybe if you can manage it, just doing a very gentle, lovely meditation. And one that's very simple is just breathing in and saying, I am, and then breathing out and saying, peaceful. Just having that as a rhythm, I am peaceful, and just allowing yourself to be infused with peace right through your body, just sending that signal that it really is time now to release everything and embrace sleep. And there is also various things like it's not good to exercise too much too soon before you sleep. So you can exercise. Exercise is brilliant all day, but right before you sleep, perhaps if you want to do gentle yoga stretches, that's fine, but not like a full power workout because that gears us up too much. Um, and also, I encourage people in my book, Elixir of Sleep, there's a sleep quiz, which is a really big comprehensive sleep quiz. And you can go through that and find out the kind of sleeper you are, the kind of dreamer you are. And I also have a ton of techniques. There's like 64 practices. And one of them is the bedroom makeover. And this is a really lovely way of just changing a couple of things in your bedroom. You don't have to do make massive changes, but just changing a few things, maybe decluttering a bit, maybe having a little sleep altar. I'm currently leading a 30-day power of sleep class with a load of people online. And that's one of the favorite practices that they really love is the sleep altar. And you can create a sleep altar in a matter of moments. You can just grab something you like that reminds you of sleep. Let me just grab this poster, for example, with an ocean ocean
Oh,
on it. If
beautiful.
you love dreaming of the ocean, then put that on your sleep altar, just on your bedside table, and you've already started your altar. And add other things. If you always dream of tigers or elephants, and you could add a little picture of a tiger or elephant or a little figure, or anything that you would love to dream about. Or if you want healing from your sleep, you can literally just draw a stick figure with like in a kind of rainbow light circle or something, and that's your intention for healing. So it helps towards dream incubation as well, so that we're getting the most out of our night of sleep and just really welcoming sleep as a myriad states of consciousness, very many different states within the whole night of sleep. But each of those states of consciousness can bring us so much. They can bring us transformation, they can bring us healing, they can bring us experiences of the lucid light, they can bring lucid dreams, and above all, this blissful sense of absolute wellness. And it's a gift to wake up in the morning energized. It's just so incredible to do that. So when we create space for our night of sleep, we're actually giving ourselves one of the biggest gifts we could ever give.
Oh, I so love the way you speak about this. You're such a wonderful ambassador for sleep because it's like,
Oh, you.
oh God, I'm gonna take such a beautiful nap this afternoon. You don't
Oh,
even know. It's gonna be, I'm gonna, and also just to recognize that we don't have to get into that hypnagogic pre-sleep stage to court that lucid light. Like it's with us right this moment.
all the time.
And this is so wonderful. So you talked about caffeine and as
Mm.
being kind of one of the quote unquote enemies of a good night's sleep and this natural gift. And to cut it off, is it around noon, would you say, or like 6 to 5
Two
hours?
o'clock's okay. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the
2 o'clock.
afternoon's okay. If you have your last coffee then it won't interrupt your sleep because coffee has a half-life. So the thing is, if we have it
Right.
too late, then it keeps kicking in with the caffeine, and we don't need caffeine. We need melatonin when we're
So we
going
need
to
to
sleep.
change the tea time because isn't it like 3 o'clock time for tea or 2 o'clock time for tea in England?
3 probably more like. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Yes,
So
exactly.
maybe
That's
just
also caffeinated.
chamomile at that point, but most people, I think, when they think of tea time, they're thinking of a little afternoon boost, which
Black tea, yeah, exactly.
might
Yeah.
not be the best thing. So
No. And it's the same with these other stimulants as well, as I said, for me, that as I say, the chocolate is, I mean, I love chocolate. I could eat it all day, dark chocolate, but
me
I try
too.
not to eat it after about 2 p.m. because again, it's caffeine. So,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness, these are such wonderful tips and that you do glow, Claire. So you it's like it's clear that you practice what you're preaching. And I
Yeah.
love that you said some of these things you said to set a sleep alarm. That's hilarious. And we talked about the wake up alarm, but not a sleep alarm. I love that. Like get your butt in
Mhm.
bed and dim the
Oh,
lights 30 minutes before and don't
oh,
exercise right before bed. And
yeah,
don't be
exactly.
staring right at the phone. I'm practicing Duolingo, and so I'm trying to get it done earlier in the day instead of right before sleep because then all of a sudden I'm like, "Da da 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 da," and, "Oh, wait, it's
I
time to
know.
bed." So do all those things at least a half an hour before bed, right? And then
Yes.
you've got this wonderful quiz, which I'm so excited about because I think quizzes I'm excited about the quiz I just was able to
Yeah.
get to my Dreamifesting book, because I personally love quizzes. I feel like it personalizes the book, personalizes the experience. So I'm
Yeah, you get right into it, you're like,
Yes.
"Okay, what does this mean for me? What kind of a sleeper am I? What kind of a dreamer am I? What do I want to change about my night of sleep?" So there's so many different techniques. There's like 64 techniques in this book.
My
One of them I'll
God.
just mention quickly is because I've had so much fun creating these techniques, Kelly, as you can imagine.
'Cause you have to
And so
practice them. It's like having a cookbook. You have to cook all of
yeah,
these things and experiment
exactly,
first.
exactly. And so one of my favorites, I've been working a lot with sound, and there's a whole chapter on sound in Elixir of Sleep. And one of the things I discovered by accident many years ago was if you're in the bathtub and you sink down under the water as far as you can go, and then you so you're like, om, then it resonates right through the water, right through the enclosed space of the bathtub. And it's incredibly harmonizing for your whole body, all of the energies. And so, one of the practices in the book is called Omming in the Bathtub. and it's gorgeous. It is just absolutely gorgeous. And you can also do
Mm.
it if you have a shower. You can still Om in the shower. That's good too. And you can even, if you don't want to do that in the bath or in the shower, you could just do it sitting or lying in bed, just slightly block your ears, just very slightly, and then do your omming, because that magnifies the vibration, and you'll feel that vibration going right into your head, relaxing your brain. You can move it down your body. I mean, it's just a gorgeous way of getting your vibration into that really mellow, perfect kind of zone for drifting into blissful sleep.
Wow, so many wonderful gifts and tips you've given us. Okay, so you're offering a wonderful gift for people, when they go to your website, deepluciddreaming.com. So tell everybody about what's in store for them.
Oh, well, they can download some free guided meditations for blissful sleep. And they can sign up for my newsletter where they get big discounts from all of my online classes. I lead a lot of live workshops, but I also have a whole load of beautiful yoga nidra style guided meditations, which I create with a professional musician who's in South Africa, and he's a friend of mine. And he creates these beautiful soundscapes to go with my voice as
Mm,
I guide people into these gorgeous lucid dreams or out of body experiences or simply into
wow.
restful sleep. So there's all sorts to discover.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna download those right now at
Oh,
deepluciddreaming.com.
yeah.
So, Dr.
Wonderful.
Clare Johnson, you are such a delight. I've known about
Likewise.
you, and you've been in my world for a long time, but this is the first time we've really gotten to connect.
Yeah,
So, it's not the
true.
last. I hope it's the
I want to
beginning
come
of
and sit in
something
your
new.
mermaid chair.
I know! I can't wait
Oh,
to share it with
incredible.
you. Yeah. Oh, it was so it was during the fires, and I was
Oh,
evacuated, the fires in
oh,
Los Angeles. So, it was during
oh,
such a traumatic time. I won't go into the whole dream, but basically I end up at the bottom of the ocean where all is calm, just like you were talking about in the bathtub with that oming, like, and I had the feeling that all the answers were here and that everything was gonna be okay. Ultimately, there was this incredible peace that came over me, and I tap into that, and it's been about a month since then, but it's a part of me. And so I'm excited to put it out on the waves all over the place and let other people share, and that's one thing we can do with dreams, because one person's dream can become everybody's dream if we talk
absolutely.
about it and share it, and then it actually amplifies. So I think that's one of my favorite things to do with dreams.
Exactly. Amplify the dream energy. Perfect.
Yeah, exactly, amplify the lucid light
Yes.
as a baseline, as just the starting point. So
Yeah.
thank you, Dr. Clare Johnson. Have a
Thank you so
wonderful time
much.
in India. I'll
I
be
will.
thanking
Thank you.
about you on the back of that
Mm.
elephant.
Oh, I hope to meet you again in person soon at another IASD conference. That would be fantastic.
You will. Okay,
And,
everyone, thanks so much for watching and or
excellent.
listening, and until we all meet again, don't take your dreams lying down. Thank you for listening to the Kelly Sullivan Walden Show. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with your friends. If you'd like to pre-order my new book, Dreamifesting, go to your favorite online or brick-and-mortar retailer, then head on over to kellysullivanwalden.com/dreamifesting. That's spelled DREAMIFESTING. That's where you input your order number, then redeem your bonus gifts. If you'd like to join me for the live recording of these shows, most Wednesdays at noon Pacific, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube Live. You can leave your questions or comments there, and you can also reach out to me on TikTok and Substack. Until next time, as you awaken to the power of your dreams, you make the world a lighter, brighter, more beautiful place, one dream at a time. Sweet dreams.